Has got to be one of the most important jobs on the planet. And it can be amazing, right? Just full of love and joy. But let's be real, it can also be unbelievably frustrating. So today, we're going to look at a program called 123 Magic. It's a method that's all about helping parents get out of that constant cycle of arguing and actually start enjoying their kids again. So, does this whole scene look a little familiar? The classic, can I have a Twinkie debate. It starts with a simple, no, but then it quickly turns into, you never let me have anything. And bam, before you know it, you are in a full-on negotiation with a 7-year-old. That is the talk, persuade, argue cycle. And if you repeat that a few hundred times, well, it pretty much guarantees misery for everybody. But what if it didn't have to be like that? What if you could break that cycle? Imagine a way to manage your kids' behavior that works without all the shouting and the emotional drain. See, this cycle, it's more than just annoying. It's a trap. It's this downward spiral that can take parenting from just being frustrating to something that feels genuinely horrible and starts to bleed into every other part of your life. Just listen to this from Sarah, a 33-year-old single mom of 3. Her words, man, they just hit you right in the gut, especially if you've ever felt that kind of dread. This isn't just a bad day we're talking about. This is serious parental burnout. And for Sarah, the cost was huge. She said she felt like she'd been run over by a truck, just completely invisible and depressed. And what happens then? Well, it leads to more screaming, more nagging, more fighting, which just ruins her days, makes it impossible to focus at work, and fills her with dread about having to do it all over again the next morning. So how in the world do you escape a trap like that? Well, this is where 123 Magic comes into play. And this isn't just some fluffy parenting tip from a blog. It's a structured, evidence-based program that's designed to give you the actual tools you need to make a change. And the credibility here is really solid. I mean, we're talking more than 1.6 million copies sold. It's been translated into 22 different languages, and thousands of pediatricians and mental health professionals recommend it. Best of all, it's designed so you can learn it in just a few hours, and this is the big one. It's designed to get you results fast. And this isn't for just one specific type of family. It works for kids from age 2 all the way to 12, and that includes both average and special needs kids. For homes with 2 parents, it helps create that all-important consistency. For single parents, it's been called a lifesaver against burnout. It even helps grandparents and other caregivers make sure the rules don't change just because the location does. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how does this whole thing work? Well, before you jump in, you have to lay some groundwork. Honestly, understanding this foundation is the real key to whether or not this method is going to work for you. It all starts with 3 big mindset shifts. First, you've got to stop assuming your kid is a little adult. They're not. Their brains just don't work the same way ours do. They can't reason through things like we can. Second, you have to avoid the 2 biggest mistakes most parents make: too much talking and too much emotion. Why? Because when you argue or get upset, you're actually giving them attention, which is a reward. It accidentally encourages the exact behavior you're trying to stop. And third, you need to get a handle on the 3 distinct jobs of parenting so you can manage your own mental energy. Think of this part like a pre-flight checklist. Item 1, before you do anything, check their physical state. Is your kid sick? Are they hungry? Are they exhausted? Because trying to discipline a child who missed their nap is a whole different ballgame. Item 2, the execution. You have to use these strategies exactly as they're described. Those no talking and no emotion rules we just talked about, they're absolutely non-negotiable if you want this to work. Okay, and this is really, really important. There are some situations where you should not start this program without getting professional advice first. If your child has a history of things like severe separation anxiety, physical violence, or any kind of extreme self-punishing behavior, please consult a therapist before you begin. This is all about making sure you're taking the right and safest approach for your child's specific needs. All right, so you've done the prep work, you understand the foundation, and you're ready to go. So what actually happens when you start? Well, you need to manage your expectations because your kid is probably going to fall into one of 2 groups. About half of all kids will respond almost like magic. These are the immediate cooperators. For these parents, the program feels like a miracle. The kids cooperate right away, the house gets calmer, and you start to feel that confidence and self-respect as a parent come rushing back. It's an amazing feeling. But then there's the other 50%. These are the immediate testers. And, well, their reaction is very, very different. Now listen up, because this is probably the single most important warning for parents of testers. Their behavior will almost certainly get worse before it gets better. This is the testing phase. They are pushing every single button you have to see if you're for real this time, to see if you actually mean business. So what do? You stick to your guns, period. No arguing, no yelling, no hitting. You just calmly and consistently apply the method. It's going to be tough, but the program is very clear. After about 7 to 10 days of sticking with it, that testing phase ends. You get them shaped up, and you actually get to enjoy being with your kids again.
Because that's what this is all about, right? The ultimate goal isn't about winning some power struggle. It's about creating a new, peaceful normal for your entire family. Let's circle back to Sarah's story. Remember, in October, she was at her absolute breaking point. But then, over the 2-week Christmas break, she went all in. She used 1-2-3 magic consistently every day. Then, in January, the vacation ended and her kids went back to school. And she had this incredible realization. She said, "I miss them for the first time in my life." That just gives you chills, doesn't it? The point isn't just to get a quiet house. It's about rebuilding that fundamental connection between you and your child. This is the payoff. A peaceful home, genuinely liking your kids again, and feeling like you're finally the calm, effective, loving parent that you always knew you could be. It's proof that with some determination and commitment, you can create a totally new normal. So it all comes down to one simple question. After seeing the trap and the way out and the potential reward, are you ready to stop all the arguing and find